We spent 3 months in Croatia and barely scratched the surface. There's just so much left to discover.
For sure, I could totally see us going back there and really sticking around for a while.
As soon as we arrived in Croatia, we started discovering all of the reasons why it could be a great place to settle long term. So we're going to be sharing our top 5 with you today.
We spent almost 3 months in Croatia and just fell in love with the place. It's a country with some prime coast on the Adriatic, just across the way from Italy.
We started with a month in Dubrovnik, we spent 6 weeks in Split, and then we finished things off with a week in Zagreb.
Of course, there are a few reasons why Croatia might not be a perfect home for you, so we'll get into that as well.
Welcome back for another episode. If you are new to the channel, I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Gillian. We retired early to travel full time, and if you're looking for more freedom and more adventure in your life, you can subscribe for a new video every week.
If you've seen any of our other videos, you'll know that we gave up our jobs, our home, and everything that we own so that we could travel the world.
And we love our life on the road. Since we started traveling, we visited ancient ruins in Turkey, we've hiked the mountains of Lake Como in Italy, and we've experienced golden autumn in Poland. We're definitely planning to keep traveling for a few more years, but we're also on the lookout for which country could make a good home base for us.
So every time we land somewhere new, we ask ourselves, could this be a good home for us? And Croatia is one of those countries that might just make the list. There is so much in Croatia to see and do. Of course, any stay there should really include the city of Dubrovnik. There is a reason why it's on so many bucket lists.
When we first saw it, we were amazed by this beautiful, perfectly preserved city. It was like something out of a fairy tale. And then when we did the walk on top of the walls around the city, it was even more impressive.
But don't stop there. There's so much more in Croatia to discover. Another jewel is the city of Split, which grew up in and around a former Roman emperor's palace. So as you walk through the city, you're actually walking through the former palace grounds.
And of course, there are very modern areas in Split as well. The main waterfront has been turned into a pedestrian promenade. So this is a place that locals go to see and be seen. There's also lots of international dining options and a very buzzy atmosphere in general.
We also spent time in Zagreb. So this is the capital of Croatia, and it's got all the international dining and shopping that you'd expect, but it also has lots of historic charm.
Beyond these well-known centers, there's a seemingly endless number of places to discover. We didn't even have the opportunity to make it to Istria, which is a region that's full of charming historic towns and beautiful countryside.
And that brings us to all the beautiful landscapes. So as you guys know, we love spending time outdoors, and we were just blown away by all the natural beauty.
Definitely. The mountains and the coastline seem to just go on forever. During our time in Dubrovnik, we hiked up Third Mountain and got this incredible view over the whole region.
In fact, we didn't just hike up there for the view. We also heard that there was a really good restaurant in the next village over.
That's right, and it was totally worth the trip.
We got more amazing views again during our drive from Dubrovnik to Split along the Adriatic Highway. So this was a half day of driving along the coastline with mountains and cliffs the whole way.
Croatia is also full of national parks to explore. So we spent a day in Krka Park and saw more waterfalls there than we've ever seen in our entire lives. We didn't even get to Plovice National Park, so that gives us a good reason to come back.
Now, if you're looking for a very pleasant lifestyle, Croatia really delivers, especially on the Dalmatian coast. We found that there's a real emphasis on enjoying waterfront living, whether it's the cafe culture or having a dip at the beach.
We noticed this during our time in Split, but there are so many coastal towns that offer this relaxed lifestyle, like Makarska and Šibenik. Croatia is a beautiful country, and the locals really take the time to get out there and enjoy it.
Another reason that Croatia is so appealing as a home base is the opportunity for local integration. So if you're planning to stay somewhere long term, you really want to feel like you can connect with people and build a sense of community.
So this should be pretty easy in Croatia, where English is widely spoken. In fact, it is taught as a second language in school.
So in Split and Dubrovnik, just about everyone we met spoke English, and certainly all the young people do. So this just makes it a lot easier to get to know locals.
Of course, if you plan to settle somewhere, you really should make some effort to learn the local language, but in Croatia, you can get pretty far on English alone.
Our fifth reason is that Croatia offers amazing access to the rest of Europe.
You can get to the surrounding countries like Slovenia and Serbia in less than half a day by train.
And of course, once you're on a train in Europe, you can pretty much get anywhere on the continent.
Beyond the ease of travel, another bonus is that Croatia is currently outside the Schengen zone. So for those of you who aren't familiar, a majority of the countries in Europe are part of this zone. It's an area with no passport controls, so tourists can travel freely between the countries for up to 90 days.
So if you spend 90 days in Italy or Spain or France, then you need to spend the next 90 days in a country that's outside the zone, like Croatia. So those are a lot of reasons to love Croatia, but we do have a few considerations.
First up, Croatia sees a lot of tourists. This country is far from being the hidden gem that it used to be, so there's a lot of competition to see the best sites.
So for our trip, we had the rare experience of going to top sites like Dubrovnik during the pandemic when no one else was around. Usually those old towns and the beaches are just overrun with tourists.
Of course, along with tourists come higher prices, which brings us to cost of living. There was a time when Croatia was considered a low-cost destination, but not so much anymore.
Of course, it's all relative and it depends on your points of comparison. So it is definitely less expensive in Croatia than many other places in Europe like France or Italy. We would say that it's roughly on par to the cost that we experienced when we were in Greece.
Certainly, the cost for accommodations in major tourist centers like Split or Dubrovnik can be sky high. That said, if you're renting long-term, you'll definitely see some savings versus tourist prices.
Also, if you want to be in a bathing suit year-round, Croatia may not be the place for you.
It does have absolutely perfect hot weather through the summer, but once the winter rolls around, even on the coast, it still gets pretty chilly.
You'll still see some locals in Split in the water in December, but we personally felt that the swimming season was long over.
And of course, once you head to Zagreb, it's full-on snowy winter. That said, if you don't mind a mild winter around 10 Celsius or 50 Fahrenheit, then the Dalmatian coast of Croatia could be a good pick. So, does Croatia make it onto our list of future homes?
For me, it's a big yes. Here's what I loved about Croatia. I loved all the great hiking we did. I loved being part of the cafe culture in Split, and I really loved having those walks by the sea every single day. What about you?
Well, I totally agree, although I might prefer to be based in Croatia in the spring and the summer so that we can avoid the tourists, but still get that really nice weather.
Okay, so I take it you're trying to dodge winter in Croatia? Fair enough. So if you enjoyed this video and want more, you can check out our entire series on retiring early around the world right here.